So in this week's tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how you can make bass lines in the style of artists like Chris Lorenzo, Skepsis, and so on. And this is what we're going to be making. How's it going, guys? It's John Holt here with The Audio Journey, helping make music production accessible to all. And here on this channel, what I do is a variety of music production tutorials focused mainly towards beginners and beyond. So if that's something that you might be interested in, then definitely consider subscribing. Now, this week's tutorial can be applied to any synth like Massive, Serum, ES2 and Logic, whatever you're using, Subtractor and Reason maybe. And also it can be done in any DAW, so it can be done in Logic, Ableton, FL Studios, whatever you might be using. This applies to all of those platforms. I'm going to be using Serum, and I'm going to be using that inside Ableton Live. So let's jump in. So I've set my session to 130 BPM, which is common for bassline and bass house music. And I've also got a really simple drum pattern going on up top here. There we go, nothing too crazy there. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a MIDI track, and then I'm going to put Serum onto it. And this is what we see when we open up Serum. So the oscillators that I want to be using, which are what generates the noise in a synth, are the sub, oscillator A, and oscillator B. Now the sub we want to leave as a sine wave. Oscillator A, we want to change what we've got here, so we want to go into basic shapes. And the sine wave is also what we want in oscillator A, as well as the sub. So oscillator B, we actually want to leave as the sawtooth wave, so that's all set up there pretty much. The only thing we need to do now is pitch the sub down a couple of octaves. What the sine waves are going to do is give the bass that weight and that low end, and then this is going to give it the high end and definition, that kind of signature sound of the genre. The next thing that we need to do is activate the filter, which we do by clicking just here. And we need to make sure that all of these oscillators, the sub, oscillator A and B, are coming through the filter, and you do that by selecting them just down here. Also, we want to keep this clicked. This means that the filter is re-triggered every time we press a new note, which is exactly what we want. So let me play you what we've got so far, and you'll hear what it's starting to sound like. Now you might recognize that as I'm moving that filter cutoff up and down, that's the kind of almost like whoopee sound that that bass line tends to have. So that's what we're going to be aiming for. Now what we need to do is make that happen automatically without us needing to be here controlling the filter cutoff. And it also needs to be in time with the song. So I'm going to show you how you can do that using an LFO. So in a synthesizer, you can make almost anything move automatically, and this is called modulation. And when we're modulating something, there's a modulation source, which is the thing that's causing the movement. So in this instance, the thing that's causing the movement, the modulation source, is the LFO. You also then have a modulation destination, which is the thing that's being moved. And in this instance, that's going to be the filter cutoff that I was just moving. So in order to do that, I'm going to take the LFO and drag and drop it onto the modulation destination, which is the cutoff, which is what we want to make move. You can also see this blue lines just appeared, and that just allows you to control how much you want the LFO to move the cutoff. So whether you want it to move it all the way around, just a little bit, we probably want it about there, but we'll tweak it until it sounds right. So now what we need to do is set how quickly that LFO is going to move the filter, and we want it to be in time with the song so that we can set the BPM for the song and the LFO locks into that song's tempo. Now we can choose in bars how long it's going to take that filter to go up and down one time, so how long it's going to take to do that basically. In order to do that, you want to make sure that the BPM box is checked just here, and then here is where you can set that. So at the moment it's set to 1/4 bar, which is exactly what we want. I'll play that for you now so you can hear what that sounds like. That's probably what we're looking for, that kind of sound. What you would then need to do is on the same MIDI track, you'd need to make a MIDI note that's 1/4 bar long, because that's how long the filter's taken to come up and down. And this is what it's going to sound like inside the track. It's this sound here. So you can hear that that's one kind of whoop, if you will. So now what you can do is duplicate that track so that all of the settings in Serum are copied over into another instance, and you rename that track the 8th fill, which is what I do. And then what you do is you go into Serum and you change this to, instead of being a quarter note, you change it to an 8th note. And let me play you what that's going to sound like. So you can hear that's going much quicker. It's actually going twice as fast as the quarter note one. So in this arrangement, I've got some doing quarter of a bar and I've got some doing the 8th of a bar. It's not quite the complete sound yet, so it might sound a little bit strange, but you'll be able to hear what these MIDI notes are doing. So I've drawn in some MIDI notes that are 1/8 of a bar long on this sort of 1/8 track, so you can start to hear what they're going to sound like. There we go. So that's how the 8th notes will sound. So you can hear that this one, I've got it repeating twice. And then I've got some singular ones just here. Now you can play around with making different kinds of melodies, and if you need any help writing in key without any music theory knowledge, then the video that's up on the YouTube card will help you with that. Now my tip to really take this to the next level would be to vary the sound of these elements by duplicating Serum again and then changing oscillator B, which we originally had as a saw wave, to any other of the wavetables in Serum, because you've got a massive selection in here, and then just adjusting the octave until you get something that you like. And this adds some cool variation into the track and helps you stand out. Now here's an example of what I've done. I've just picked a random other wavetable to go into oscillator B instead of the square wave, and this is what it sounds like. So that's going to add a bit of a different element to the track. Now I'm going to close Serum, and I've now demonstrated all of the elements that are actually in the track, so I'll play that again and you'll be able to hear how all of those different elements start to gel together. I really hope this has helped you guys, and if it has, then please do leave a like. It really does mean a lot to me. Now if you do want more sound design tutorials just like this one, then get in touch via the links in the description below and I'll be happy to put them on my request list. And also if you want to book me for a one-on-one tuition session to go through some of this stuff, I'll also pop the link for you to do so down in the description below. So feel free to check out some of my other content guys just up here, and feel free to subscribe to the channel by clicking just up here. Now, I've been John Holt with The Audio Journey, and I hope to see you again soon. Take care.